Hey guys, here. Today I'm going to be showing you how I mix the viral song Get Jiggy by B-Jax and Zeddy Will. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys so much for 300 subscribers on this YouTube channel. I've been trying super hard to give you guys valuable content, so I really appreciate the love you guys have been showing. Please make sure that you leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want more mixing breakdowns like the one I did today, and let's get right into it. The vocal chain for this song started with a Loud & Audio FC387 Atlantis on the natural setting, going into an Avalon 737 preamp. I don't believe I was doing any compression on the recordings, and unfortunately, it was going into a Focusrite. Okay, so as you can see, we're in the box, and I'm on my stream setup, by the way, so you can ignore some of the stuff going on the screen. But so here's the session, and if you've heard the song, you know it's a pretty simple song. You got a bass, you got a sample, you got some vocal chops and stuff going on. Other than that, it's not really much. I've got a little bit of processing happening on the 808s. I actually added some saturation here with Nectar. I've literally never used this before until today, and I just wanted to add a little more presence to the bass, so I used this to do that. It's not regular, Mordecai Rigby, but it's very subtle. It's very, very subtle, but I just wanted it to be heard a little bit more. And then I've got this ozone impact on both of these basses, really just there to add a little bit more punch. That was kind of the point of this, was to add some punch and some more frequencies in the top end to these subs. They're very, very much low end and not a lot of actual information to be heard. So it would sound like there's no bass coming through your phone or through headphones sometimes, but then in the car it would be completely blasting. So I had to do something about that, and this helped a little bit. Then this cookout sample here. Really all I did was just do some EQ, some corrective EQ, just to kind of have it sit in there a little bit better. And I spread it out also with Ozone Imager. There's probably better ways to do this. This mix is a little bit old to me at this point. I still might do it the same way though. I don't mind Ozone Imager, and I think it sounds pretty good. Lastly, we have the vocal chops, the works. I didn't do anything to these other than just add Pan Man on them, just so they were kind of going around. In the original song, in the demo, they were actually sitting in the middle, which is right where the vocals sit, of course, and the vocals were kind of kept colliding with that work. So I wanted it not, I wanted them not colliding, essentially. So that's why I kind of have them more in the stereo field there. It's a very narrow mix, so you know there's a lot of space in the field. Next, we have the aux that the beat is actually getting sent to. So it's all going here, and I love FL Studio. I love making beats in FL Studio, but when I get sent stems to a beat for a song that I'm mixing, I prefer to just do everything in Pro Tools. So I'm using Orange Clip here just to get that soft clipper effect, just like what they have in FL. My body, she wanna get mixy, like fuck that babe move Suzy. I feel like Wayne, I need me a milli, like fuck that bitch. And it's not doing much. It's just adding a little bit of compression, a little saturation, and a little punch. And this F6 RTA is not actually doing anything. I actually just use it sometimes to literally visually see what the beat looks like in the frequency range, so I can get an idea of where there's room for the vocals to sit. I don't have the best monitor setup, so sometimes I have to use my eyes. Okay, now let's go to the vocals. So the way I have vocal set up, originally when we recorded this song here, originally was trying to get B-Jax and Zeddy to have the same vocal chain. It just didn't make sense. The way B-Jax projects his voice is completely different from the way Zeddy projects his voice. Zeddy's got a way warmer, smoother tonality to his voice. B-Jax, I've been working with B-Jax for a really long time, and knowing how he records just changes his voice inflections a lot. He changes the way he's delivering throughout the song, so his frequency range and his tonal balance throughout most of the music that he makes, it just changes a lot. And rather than driving myself crazy trying to create separate chains for different parts of the song, I just do a lot. So, and that's just how it is, and it sounds fine to me. We'll start with B-Jax. So I have these auxes here where his vocals are actually on, and I have very little things happening here. I've got a Pro Q on natural phase. I like using natural phase for vocals, by the way. I have Pro Q on natural phase, doing a small cut, a little bit of mid-range boost, and this high-end cut here. I don't remember why I did that, but it made sense in the moment. This F6 is actually doing absolutely nothing. I forget why I even had it here. I think I just forgot to bypass it. I have a CLA 76 doing some compression to start it off, and then I have a de-esser.
My body, she wanna get mixy. Like, fuck that babe, move Suzy. I feel like Wayne, I need me a milli. Like, fuck that babe, get busy. Shawty a treat, but she really can't trick me.
So this de-esser is just grabbing the S's. It's not doing a whole bunch, but it's not doing a little bit either. Then I've got this Pro Q doing a little bit more. Now, like I said, with B-Jax, you're going to notice his vocal chain is a little bit different than Zeddy's. When B-Jax is recording, his mid-range is more flamboyant than anything else. And it's usually around this 1K range. And it's almost like muscle memory with B-Jax at this point, but I'm usually listening for how crazy that mid-range is with his recording, and in this song it was pretty crazy. And so this is just doing some mid-range reduction, kind of control, I would say, just at the minus 5 dB of dynamic range. And then it's the same thing on both of these tracks. And then this is going into his aux, where I have a tiny bit of compression going on here. Actually, I think it actually might be a lot.
My body, she wanna get mixy. Like, fuck that babe, move Suzy. I feel like Wayne, I need me a milli. Like, fuck that babe, get busy.
So here it's got a 2.0 range, but it's pretty comfortably in his vocal, and it's adding a lot of punch. After that, I've got this this D2 that's just doing a little bit of high boost. This is a normal part of my vocal chain I do on every vocal right now. After that, I've got a Pugue Tech. Today I would use a Poltech. I like the UAD stuff a lot better now that I have an Apollo. And it's just doing a little bit of boost, 12K for 2 dB, I think, with a very sharp bandwidth. After that, I've got this F6. This F6 is doing a ton of control, just trying to even things out.
My body, she wanna get mixy. Like, fuck that babe, move Suzy. I feel like Wayne, I need me a milli. Like, fuck that babe, get busy. Shawty a treat, but she really can't.
So as you can see, it's kind of just shaping the vocal and then grabbing any peaks that punch through. After that, I've got a D.
My body, she wanna get mixy. Like, fuck that babe, move Suzy.
Just grabbing the remainder of those S's. And then I have a little tiny bit more control happening with this Pro Q. And then I've got a slight amount of width being added with this chorus on Autotune EFX and 1% of the reverb. I believe these are the default settings for the plugin. Now let's go to Zeddy Will. So here on Zeddy Will's part, we've got a similar vocal chain, but there are some things that are different. First off, I've got this push here at 1900 and the same cut. Then I've got an F6. The F6, the difference in these recordings was super drastic. Again, that's why I created 2 separate vocal chains. Normally, I would not do this. If the vocal chain is good, with most vocals, they should also fit in the same pocket. But the way they recorded this song, they just recorded completely differently, and just sometimes, I guess, that just happens. Zeddy Will's recordings were super duper, super low end heavy. And I don't use, I believe this is more because I also used the natural setting on the Atlantis, and I usually don't use it anymore. I was just kind of an experimental phase during those months, testing out different settings, and I still think the song sounds good. But with Zeddy's voice, where he already has this really smooth tonality and low end in his vocal, I needed to add this F6 to his vocal chain to just take out around 250 minus 4 dB there, just to kind of fit it in the same pocket that B-Jax's vocal is sitting in. Now I've got a different CLA. I actually have it on the black setting, doing a ton of compression, I believe. Let's see.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies here with me. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly, got hoes in the biddy. Niggas be capping.
Now, something I had an issue with, now that I'm realizing that this could have been the cause of it, and something I had an issue with when I was mixing this song was a lot of his transients were punching through way too loud. Those I'm in the baddie and I'm in the Oz, those were just punching through crazy, and I can tell I usually don't put this at 100% mix if I am doing something like this, but yeah, and this is a slower attack for a vocal. The way this is set up, I think I would have changed this today, and actually, I should have looked back at this more. when I was mixing the song, just to control his vocal a little bit better. But it is what it is. But yes, you can see the settings on here are going to create a really, really punchy, transient vocal. After that, I've got this
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit with me. I drink too much.
This is really just grabbing like the very peaks of the S's. I got a limiter after that, controlling it a little.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit with me. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than.
And that's just grabbing those transients that are punching through. Now let's go to his vocal chain. Got the R comp, similar settings, doing a massive amount of compression here.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit with me. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always
on the smooth setting and electro. L1 limiter, grabbing some of those peaks.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit with me. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly, got hoes in the biddy.
After that, I've got the F6. I've got the D2 doing another two, doing the same boost that I always do at 10K. And then I've got a Puke Tech doing more than on B-Jax's vocal with a very sharp, as sharp as possible bandwidth at 12K. After that, I've got the F6 doing some control and some shaping.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit with me. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly, got hoes in the biddy. Niggas be capping, they carry no stitch.
And then I've got a de-esser again.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit with me. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly, got.
Some of his S's were super harsh, so this was doing a lot. And then after that, I've got some width being added with Auto-Tune EFX again. I really like Auto-Tune EFX. Now, when it comes to reverb and sends and things, I usually, unless there's something that I'm doing that is for some reason different, they're always the same on both if there's multiple vocals, they're always going to be exactly the same if it's just something that's going to be going throughout the whole song. I've got my verb. My reverb is being sent to this. I don't use anymore, but when I was using it, I loved it. One knob wetter. You have to send a lot for it to get activated because it also adds some dry signal into the mix. And then I've just got an F6 EQ just rolling off some of the low end. But I love one knob wetter, and it's a great reverb. You don't even have to think about it, and it's super clean. That was the first one. And then the second reverb, I've got two just kind of creating a nice space here. I've got the default settings with reverb type at room and F6 carving up a little bit more of the low end than the other reverb. After that, well, let me show you what those sound like actually. I should be able to isolate them. So if I mute the beat and my vocals, yeah. So now you can hear just the effects.
I'm always in Philly, got hoes in the biddy. Niggas be capping, they care. Get tricky. I can't love on these hoes, I be busy. My life is not regular, Mordecai Rigby. Believe it or not, I got hot call Ripley's. I'm wearing a rubber, I won't hit it icky. I bust on the face, not a cinch is sticky.
Yeah, so the second reverb with the R verb, it's super unnoticeable. I barely noticed it when I turned it on and off just now. But then I've got a 1/8 delay being sent on both of them. What I like about eighth note delays, especially at this tempo, 130 to like 180, is it kind of sounds more like a reverb in the sense that if you do it low enough, it makes it feel like it makes it feel like the pre-delay is set just right on the reverb. It's not the reverb, it's not in the reverb, it's not being sent to the reverb or anything like that. Now, my eighth note delay is just Echo Boy on. I've had these settings set like this forever. I did a song and then just saved it in this template, and I've always loved this for this eighth note delay specifically. It's on the telephone setting with these high cuts and low cut feedbacks. You guys can see them. And then I've got, actually that's everything. The last thing that I like to do also, of course, is some saturation. This is not how I do saturation today to create like a smooth shine on the vocal, but I believe I was using Decapitator. Let me find it. So I've got Decapitator here on these settings. So both of these vocals are being sent to Decapitator. Just adding some brightness. Low cut is at 109, tone is at 6.6 dB, drive is at 6.4, and all these are doing is pushing that high end a little bit. I'll show you with and without.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit whip. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly, got hoes in the biddy. Niggas be capping, they carry no citry. I'ma still be that nigga by 50. Loving bitches, that's where it get tricky. I can't love on these hoes, I be busy. My life is not regular, Mordecai Rigby. Believe it or not, I got hot called Ripley's. I'm wearing a rubber, I won't hit it icky. I bust on the face, now the city is sticky.
It's a little bit louder on B-Jax's vocal. Oh no, I'm completely wrong. Yeah, see, I have it pushed more on Zeddy's vocal. B-Jax's vocals are already harsh enough and bright enough, so I know for a fact that I was doing it more on Zeddy's because they were so rounded out. So I master my own stuff. I mean, I don't have a crazy mastering chain. I actually would say that mastering is probably my biggest area of improvement, but I've been getting better, I think. I've got Orange Clip again.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit whip. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly.
It's rounding it out a little bit. Depending on the song, I like to use something like Orange Clip. If not, if it's something a little bit more traditional, I might use Solid Bus Comp or SSL. Then I've got God Particle. I really like God Particle just for the width that it adds. I'm not adding any, using the limiter or anything like that.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit whip. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly, got hoes in the biddy. Niggas be capping, they carry no citry. I'ma still be that nigga by 50. Loving bitches, that's where it get tricky. I can't.
You can see it. You can hear it really opens it up. I've got Soothe on here. I believe this is the default setting. I just changed the depth a little.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section.
Oh no, this is on Master Start.
Bobby, I need me a Whitney. I'm in the section, the baddies hit whip. I drink too much liquor, I'm way more than tips. I'm always in Philly, got hoes in the biddy. Niggas be capping, they carry no citry. I'ma still be that.
I don't use Soothe all the time, but sometimes I think it hurts the song more than helps it. I like when things peek through, but it made sense on this song. And then I've got Ozone, doing not too much, just a little bit of shaping and, you know, tonal balance control and the EQ. Impact, doing some things here with the dynamics. The Imager, if you guys have seen some of my old videos, you know how I feel about Imager. I don't love what it does, but it felt right here, and when it feels right, it's right. Got Clarity on their default settings, Stabilizer on default settings, Dynamics, just grabbing some things here, and then I've got Maximizer, doing Maximizer things. I think it sounds pretty good. All in all, that's how it goes. That's how we did it today. I really appreciate you guys showing up. And if you have any questions, if there's anything that I left out, if there's anything you have questions about, feel free to leave a comment below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. I love you all. Thank you so much for showing up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.